is with us. He's founder at MK Ventures. Madhu, good morning. Great to have you with us here. It's a pleasure. It's a big day. And I was sort of, making a comment in the morning that it's a day which I think we'll remember for many years to come. So a big gap up and a sign of things to come. Just your first reaction. I mean, what does the market do from here, Madhu, beyond today? Because today the rates are already there, 800 points higher. Does the base itself shift higher for the market? Do we see some consolidation after the immediate election result? Or do you think it's going to be higher, larger, and for longer? Your thoughts?
Sure. Prashant, thank you so much and good morning. Very nice to have, very nice to be here. I think you hit the nail, Prashant. It is not about days. It is not about today. I think the important thing is to understand that this is an absolutely unprecedented time. As I said in your own channel a few months back, this is Amrit Kal. And this is Amrit Kal for equity investors for sure. So I think the important thing is that, how much of your allocation is there in equity and how long a view you are willing to take. Because, these events will come, markets will open up, gap up. But if you are really structurally positioned for equity, I think everything is really, really falling well for India. If you look at, all our macro indicators, inflation, interest rate, fiscal deficit, tax collection, GDP growth rate, and the way India is now positioned even within the international markets, geopolitically, we are positioned in a fantastic manner. So I think there is significant opportunity for wealth creation over the next 5 to 10 years. And that is the biggest call. And that is why how much you are really positioned in equity. What is your allocation? That is the important question to ask yourself. The other thing, Prashant, obviously markets have run up a lot. There are very rich valuation in certain pockets. So when you actually go to buy individual stock, even a guy like me is struggling because looking at the valuation. But what I figured out over the last few days, that if you're willing to take, because you are late in the party, if you're a new buyer, if you're an old buyer, the choice is very clear that you have to be staying with the market and you have to staying with your portfolio, you have to staying with your investment. But if you're a new buyer and wanting to put new money in the market, then, if you look at immediate making money, that is going to be tough because you're coming at 23,000 Nifty and that's not going to be easy. So if you look at next 3 years, if you start to look at 2026-27 from earning perspective, then you can find a lot of investable ideas. So that is what my focus is, to really find companies which can grow earnings significantly over the next 3 years. And Prashant, you and I have seen in the markets for last 30 years, basically, if the backdrop is positive, then there is tremendous opportunity to buy individual stocks. And that is what the focus should be, to really buy individual stocks because the backdrop of the market is very, very positive. And lastly, I would say this is time for wealth creation, my friend, and it is not time for income generation.
Okay, that's it's a punchy, nice one. And the point is, the size of the cycle determines how much money you can make, right, over a period of time. And this seems that this is extending, it's bigger in that sense. So with that 3-year kind of view, right, not chasing what is sexy today, what is in fashion, momentum today, but because you must take a slightly longish view because you're coming in at 23,000. What are the areas where you are finding a lot of opportunities, Madhu? Is it again manufacturing? Because we are seeing a renaissance of manufacturing in the country, right, which was not there for the last couple of decades, but we're starting to see that. Is that one big sort of area? What's the sense?
Prashant, India is the area, honestly speaking, like a buffet, as my friend, philosopher and guide, Rakesh Jhunjhunwala used to say, that there is a buffet out there. You have to choose what you want to eat, and you have to make sure that you don't eat so much that there is indigestion. That's the only thing which you have to be careful about. But otherwise, there will be stock-specific opportunities in manufacturing, in chemicals, pharmaceutical. There'll be, I think, financial sector has been underperforming for last 2 years. So there'll be really great opportunities in some select private banks and select, financial stock, capital market related stocks. So the list is really long. Prashant, I will just repeat once again. The moot point is, are you positioned in the right stocks? And do you have really the view of 3 to 5 years? And can you digest this volatility which will happen? And that, if you have that focus, then I'm sure even today at 23,000 Nifty, you can find many ideas where you can make a lot of wealth.
Madhu, hi, good morning. So good to have you with us on this morning. Like Prashant was saying, I mean, these are days that we'll remember, right? Either ways, whatever happens. But these kind of moments in these days you remember. You know, we were in conversation with Samir just a while back, and I thought he made an excellent point. He said, let's talk manufacturing. He said, the name is a wrapper. Manufacturing involves, and it's true, everything from a ball bearing company to a large manufacturer to someone who's doing roads and capex to someone who's making boilers. So now help us, distill this even further when you're looking at valuations and you don't want to get burnt, right? Next 3 years, what do you like the most in this manufacturing / capex themes? If you could narrow it down a bit for us.
So Surabhi, as I said, that, one financial sector clearly looks like a very, very good risk reward from my perspective. And within manufacturing, there will be individual sectors which you need to focus on, as you rightly said. So I see opportunities even in the sectors. And see, if you are talking about manufacturing, then you have to clearly take a 3 to 5 year view. Because if you're looking at stocks from a next year perspective, then they look really expensive. But the certainty of earning, which is there in India in a lot of these companies, and if you are willing to take a 3 to 4 year view, then you will be able to find a lot of ideas. So let's say I like a couple of forging companies. I like some companies even in auto ancillaries. I just said the area is very, very wide. I am very, very bullish on select names in pharmaceutical, which is again part of China, India plus one. So Surabhi, today's time is really, I would just like to reiterate, it is not about individual companies or 1 or 2 sectors. It is about your own conviction in India. It is about being convinced, even though market is at 23,000, is there a significant wealth creation opportunity which is left over the next 5 to 10 years? That is a moot question to be answered. And to my mind, there is the decisive yes to that question. And if you are willing to take that bet, and if you are an individual investor, of course, you put money in AIF or a mutual fund, so your job is easy. But if you are even a stock picker, and if you have this time frame, I would just like to reiterate only one thing: take that view, focus on wealth creation and not on income generation.
So, Madhu, that point is very well taken, that you need to have, patience. You need to be looking at the long term. But, just on the here and now, just to, come back to the market today, how much of a pop do you think will digest it? I mean, whether it is 350 or whether it is 360 or whatever that number might be, what's your best case guess? 2%, 3%, 4%? What would you expect over the next 2 days? Just talking about the here and now.
Surabhi, I think market is very interestingly poised. To best of my understanding of the market, there is significant short positions by the FIIs and even the domestic investors, most of the HNI investors were very carefully positioned going into this large event because there is a large amount of wealth which got created. So people were in a mode where people wanted to be careful, save the money, right? So markets are technically very, very interestingly poised. Now, whether they open 500 point higher or 700 point higher, I see no significant downside even from a next 2, 3, 4 days perspective. However high we open, there will be tremendous amount of buying which is waiting on the sideline if markets were to correct even few hundred points from where they opened.
Okay, all right. Madhu, so today we will get a new high. Tomorrow we'll get a higher high? I mean, okay, very near term, but possible.
Prashant, my friend, you and I have been very long. It's so difficult to predict 1 or 2 days. And I am saying what will be achieved by predicting this. The big thing which I'm telling you, my friend, is that this is time of India. We are, for last 7, 8 years, We have spent, this government has done a tremendous job laying the foundation. I think the next 5 years, I am very, very bullish, Prashant. That's all I would like to say.
All right, we leave you to it, Madhu, and I think you want to be with the markets as well as be open. Appreciate you joining in and running us through that perspective. Great to get, and we'll speak again tomorrow once we actually have the full final results, and we'll talk more then.